for you to join Washington, D.C. regional play in Philadelphia. Albany's Great Danes against top seed UConn in the Washington region. Let's go to Philly and join Jim Nantz and Billy Packer.
The last of the #1 seeds to play. The UConn Huskies about to take on the Albany Great Danes here in Philadelphia. First game of a nighttime doubleheader here at the Wachovia Center with Kentucky and UAB coming up later. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz and Billy Packer, and the 1 seeds now 87-0 all time. But at practice yesterday, Albany showed up with T-shirts that said, "Why not us?"
Well, someday, somewhere. But, Jim, it's not going to happen again tonight. No.
Okay.
I won't give in to that.
Well, let's look at some of the players to watch, and we begin with Rudy Gay of the Huskies.
Well, one of the most gifted players in college basketball. Will this be a tournament? He's starting to show exactly what he can do. Jamar Wilson, Conference Player of the Year, an explosive guard, big city kid. And I'm sure he's liking this challenge.
They do have a big kid on the Albany side. Kirsten Zollner, 7'1" senior from Germany, matched up against the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, Hilton Armstrong, at 6'11". And this game brought to you on HDTV by Harris Corporation, world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. The officials, Richard Cartmel, Antonio Petty, Robert Staffen, John Cal, the alternate, as we get set to begin things in the nighttime session in Philly.
It's not often that Rudy Gay looks at the man he's jumping against in the throat.
Yes.
That's how much bigger Zollner is. Gay gets the tap.
And Albany in its first ever NCAA Division I tournament. And Marcus Williams, top assist man in the Big East. Some say might be the best point guard, pure point guard in the country. Over to Gay, inside to go. Boom, we'll kick it back out. No reset.
Now you can see what they're having. Jamar Wilson play off of Williams, giving him the jump shot.
Trying to get it in low and taken away by the Great Danes and Brent Wilson.
Now a straight man-to-man matchup is exactly what Albany will play. No funky zone, no mix and match defense. They're going after a man-to-man. Nice cut.
Tough shot, bounced around to Gay, and UConn's already going to bring in a sub. It's going to be Jeff Adrian coming right in after the Huskies' first trip down the floor. Jim Calhoun said, "I'm bringing Boone to the bench to have a word with him."
I'll tell you what, he is quick pulling that Josh Boone out of ball games.
Brian Lillis called for the foul for Albany. And this Albany team at 21-10.
They've got a lot of size, Jim. When you put Zollner down there in the middle, Brent Wilson, pretty good sized player. This is a tough matchup for Lillis right here.
Rudy Gay hits the jumper to open up the scoring.
He's got size on him and quickness. Lillis from Iowa, and obviously has some pretty good genes in his family. His sister, one of the great players in Iowa basketball history at the university.
Here's Wilson, and that one spins around and out, and Armstrong clears it for UConn. Oh, what a pass. He's so good at that on the go. Wilson in there and the others, and they help force the turnover. There's Will Brown, the 34-year-old head coach of Albany. They won the America East title, Billy, and they won the conference tournament automatic bid by beating Vermont in the conference final, tournament final.
Well, he's impressed me what he's done at Albany, and what he did at Sullivan County Community College was even more impressive in terms of national junior college reputation. An awesome record. But this is the first appearance Albany's ever had in the NCAA tournament. It's amazing what this school has done going to Division I and being this good this quickly.
Going through the whole process. It comes out of the conference that made it to the Sweet 16 last year with Vermont. Jamar Wilson on the go, missing the shot. He's had a couple of looks.
You notice Josh Boone's right back in there. Jim Calhoun just wanted to make a statement to him.
And it's off his leg. Back to Albany.
He's frustrated. Nice job by Rudy Gay to say, "Come on, Josh, get in this ball game with us."
Jim Calhoun's first game as a coach in the tournament as a Hall of Famer. went in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm glad you finished that sentence. I was wondering where you were going.
You were ready to pounce, but he went in September. It was announced on the Monday of the championship game last year in St. Louis. Of course, he has 30 games of the season to go through at 27-3. The first tournament game as a Hall of Famer. NCAA tournament game. They were ousted in the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament a week ago in New York, by Syracuse. That pass shot taken into the first row by Rudy Gay as Lucius Jordan tried to challenge.
I'll tell you, this may be 1 versus 16, but Jim Calhoun is pacing the sidelines like I haven't seen him pace in a long time. He is really into this ballgame.
Lillis puts it in just in time.
Ooh, what a shot.
1-2 on the shot clock. Got a piece of the rim. Zollner out to Jordan with a 3. Yes, there you go. 3-2 Albany.
There's that hit-ahead pass again by Williams.
That basket, Billy, creates our first lead change of the day in Philadelphia. After we had 2 wire-to-wire winners in the afternoon, Arizona and Villanova. Denham Brown with a 3.
Denham's been playing so well. A terrific block out by Lucius Jordan.
Underneath, Jordan, yes.
Made the play by using the rim to shield off the defender. This team is not intimidated, just like in the first game. Monmouth did a terrific job against Villanova. A double down on Josh Boone's got to leave somebody open.
UConn's turned it over 3 of its 5 trips. Inside, Boone fouled by Zollner. They've got to be careful with Zollner now if you're Albany.
Well, Williams is making some crazy passes this early in the ball game, Jim, trying to thread needles, and very similar to what Villanova did. The ones in the 16s always try to go for knockouts right away, and if it doesn't work, it becomes a frustrating game because they get out of sync.
All that foul, Billy, not on Zollner, but Brent Wilson. Boone hits the first. Of course, Boone with all that NCAA tournament pedigree. Started as a freshman on that championship team that won the title over Georgia Tech and San Antonio, 04. 1 of 2. Wilson, he is quick.
He is quick. Not afraid to take it in traffic.
Brent Wilson lost it, but Zollner for the second time keeps the possession alive. Brent Wilson off the mark. Lillis crashing inside, up and good.
This team's pretty tough. Got some hard-nosed kids.
And they got a steal.
These passes, Jim, are knockout throws, and they are not the way Connecticut ought to be playing early in this ball game. Jim Calhoun has to be beside himself. It's a pretty good team. You need to play a solid ball game to start. And you can obviously see that Albany is not intimidated.
Wilson puts it up left hand, and it's 9-3. Great Danes. They got some size, they got some speed. They got a whole lot of energy, and another turnover coming up.
If you're Jim Calhoun, you don't want to wait maybe here for the TV timeout.
Well, he's going to get the TV timeout.
He's going to go with Anderson, too.
Why not us? That's what Albany said. Coming in to lead 9-3 at the first break. Our Southwest Airlines sideline report, as you see Will Brown and his Great Danes on a 9-1 run after Rudy Gay hit the game's first basket. 9-1 since. And what did you see over in the UConn huddle during the break?
I saw Jim Calhoun very upset with his team. He got Marcus Williams as he went over to the sideline before he ever sat down and said, hey, you can tell, get under control. They're trying to go for home run passes on every toss.
Jeff Adrian is in for the Huskies, number 4. Here he is defending. And Rashad Anderson now defending on the ball with sharpshooter. Best 6th man in the country, number 31.
I think Wilson can take him a little bit off the dribble. Almost walked on that play, not called. Very patient.
Well, they've got under 8 on the shot clock. Back out to Brent Wilson. He's got an open 3, feet planted short. And Marcus Williams will run it up the floor. Inside the Boone. Soft hook. for 2.
A good job by Zollner not to foul on that play.
Driving in, Jamar Wilson, and look at Zollner wisely backing off the tap.
I think Anderson will have all kinds of problems with Wilson.
He's got some quickness, doesn't he?
And he dribbles low to the floor. A city player.
Gay driving, dishing, stolen. Jamar Wilson.
You see he was going to try to get Gay to run over the top of him, pick up the cheap foul. Boy, they're playing behind Zollner, giving him a chance to touch the ball anytime he wants to.
Short with the shot over Boone. UConn ready to bring in Denham Brown and Greg Austrie.
And Zollner's asking to come out. He's a little tired. Another steal.
Can you believe how many times they've stolen it already? That's 7 steals.
It is. And Jim, the reason for it is Marcus Williams made this game very uncomfortable in style as the way that Connecticut's playing. Normally, he's under control. He's been out of control so far in this game.
Jordan, jumper. Tipped around to Gay. And it's Adrian on the dunk.
A little bit too easy is the way Albany's been playing their defense.
Lillis, nifty dribbling, gives it up. Zollner jumper.
Well, Zollner's tired, Jim, and when you are, you take a shot that you don't want to put up. But he makes a steal, another one.
He got back down the floor. Timeout called by Albany. They see it. Tell you, they're going to bring in 2 subs after the break, including Levi Levine right there with the headband. He took off his warm-ups, did not have his jersey on underneath. Had to go to the locker room to put it on. Billy, you were saying Zollner needed a breather. I looked over, and jumping off the bench was this young man, Levi Levine, senior from New York, and when he took his warm-up top off, there was nothing but a T-shirt on underneath. He did not have the jersey. The whole bench began to laugh, and off he ran under the tunnel back to the locker room.
So back in the days when guys used to wear those long warm-up pants, I know many a man.
Don't tell.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Also brought in Jimmy Covington, 54, after setting some picks. Yachty in for the first time, almost hits the 3. And the boxing out leads to an offensive rebound. Here's Levine with the 3. And Denham Brown's first action over to Austrie, who also checks in for the first time.
Denham Brown has really been playing some outstanding basketball for Connecticut down this stretch. Good pass. Good look.
So the Huskies back within 2. This is John Yachty, 14 with the ball, sophomore from York, Pennsylvania. He can pop it from the outside. He had 6 threes in a game at Pauley Pavilion early in the season.
Austria on Williams. Now there's a switch.
Levine puts it up and out to Boone. Austria now with the ball. Freshman who started the first 11 games of the year as Marcus Williams was suspended for the first third of the season.
Austria settling this team down with it, getting into their half-court offense much better with him on the floor.
Here's Austria on the drive, looking for the tying basket, and UConn has come back to tie it as Albany's missed its last 6 shots. The Great Danes had surprised everyone here with a lead at one time of 9-3.
I'm surprised Jim Calhoun's going to take Austria out of the ball game. He's got Williams right back up there now.
Anderson almost steals it. Jamar Wilson will challenge Anderson, then kick it to the corner. Levine stepping in the paint. Jordan, he's hit one of these. A 3, no. Last touch by Albany. So we're almost halfway through the first half. 16-1, tied at 11.
Jim, look at this right here. 8 turnovers to 0. And what that is caused by is the fact that Connecticut going for the knockout punch early. Williams trying to make the spectacular tough plays instead of playing solid, and Albany took advantage of it.
Albany with 19 field goal tries versus only 6 for UConn, because they're either turning it over or making, and that hit the back of the glass. They say it was touched by an Albany player on the way up, so it'll stay with the Huskies. Albany about a 4.5-hour drive away, of course, the capital city of New York. And again, their first ever appearance in the NCAAs. Rudy Gay with the offensive rebound. Yachty thought he had knocked it off Gay, but they'll say again the Great Danes the last to touch it.
Gay was going to catch that ball and wheel right back into the basket. He had a good idea, didn't quite have a hold of it. It's a zone out of bounds situation.
Soft hook, Boone, no, yes. Don't give up on it too soon. And Boone, who got pulled after the first trip down the floor, had a little exchange there with the coach, just a little coaching on the side. He's got 7 now. He's come out hot. Zollner underneath with an easy basket.
Power move there against the best shot blocking team in the country that had two of their 3 big men in position to block that shot.
Wilton Armstrong looking around.
Another steal.
This Jamar Wilson's got quick hands and feet. And outside he was pushed by Rudy Gay. Albany, a school with, well, about 12,000 undergrads, founded in 1844 with the graduate program. There's 17,000 enrollment. Found as Albany Normal College in 1844. That pass deflected by Dennis Brown. But there's Brent Wilson picking up the loose change.
Who do you want to give that assistant to? Jamar Wilson will get it, but Connecticut touched it right before the layup.
Brother coach Will Brown, he told us yesterday, Billy, this is going to be the first game all year where we're going to play loose. This Boone in the paint. Picked up by Brent Wilson. He lost it going back the other way to UConn. We won't be in awe of UConn, he assured us. You see Greg Clark set with the singular at the half and the singular Naismith update. Live look-ins coming up singular at the half.
Well, this Albany team has faced 8 ranked teams. This year they played UCLA to a nice ball game out on the West Coast. Obviously, none of those games are played at home, although they have played 4 of those against Syracuse. 1 did go to Albany.
That's a 3. 3 by Marcus Williams. Yeah, they went out there and played it, Paul. He played them to a 6-point game.
They also played Florida early in the year before Florida was ranked. So they've taken on some tough teams.
The 3 by Marcus Williams gives UConn the lead.
And they lost 3 overtime games this year. Their record will be even better.
Siggers in the game for the first time. And last touched by the Great Danes. They turn it over for the first time. Well, and this is, again, Will Brown, 34 years old, in his 5th year as the head coach. His biggest concern, he felt going in this game, is could we stay with him, he said, rebounding.
Well, so far, because of the knockout blows that Connecticut are trying to do with passes that have been tough inside, rebounding hasn't been an issue.
Dennis Brown hits the jumper for the Huskies, up 3.
Dennis Brown could be the difference maker. Just as we all know Anderson is coming off the bench, Dennis Brown is a starter that has been so solid.
I'll tell you, Dennis Brown, though, Billy, the last 4 games of the season, including that Syracuse game in the Big East tournament, he's averaged about 20 a game. Under 8 to go first half. Huskies by 3. Jim Nantz, Billy Packer in Philadelphia. Go to mycokerewards.com/NCAA to play Coca-Cola NCAA Championship Run 2006.
Then it'll be Zollner going to the foul line. I watched him yesterday. Looked like he had a fairly good stroke, but he's only shooting 46% from the foul line. As a team, Albany's shooting almost 71%. So when you've got a man that's going to the line over 100 times down there below 50, you can see how well the other guys are doing.
UConn with its 9th player now to enter the game. Ed Nelson, number 32, is in for the Huskies. And Zollner at the line for a pair. It is a good-looking stroke.
It is. I watched him yesterday in practice, and it was a fine stroke to be way down there.
And there's Ed Nelson, who began his college career at Georgia Tech and had a fine freshman go of it, but transferred to UConn. Had to sit out the championship year as a transfer. And at times this year, spot duty, he's given them some big minutes.
He was the ACC Freshman of the Year.
That's something.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Another big body in there for the Huskies. Rudy Gay, fadeaway.
Beautiful step back jumper right over Zinger.
It's the highest arcing jumper in college basketball. It comes down wet.
Zinger's 6'4", if that. No problem for Rudy Gay to shoot right over the top of him. Great play by Denham Brown.
And Jordan able to break up the fast break. He deflected that.
Oh, absolutely. The officials missed that.
Oh, they're going to give it to Albany. And another turnover in the books. It shouldn't have been one, but UConn committed the first 8 turnovers of the game. Now they're up to 10.
Tell you, Jim Calhoun tonight is trigger on mistakes that are made by players. That's going to put Williams right down, but that ball was tipped. Pick and roll, same play they ran before, and he will deliver.
And Zollner dunks it down for a 1-point UConn lead now.
And as I said, Jim Calhoun janking guys quickly. You know he's going to come out on that play. Josh Boone. He fell asleep. Set play. Nelson has walked twice on his play and hits the shot.
Well, they owed him one after that last one wasn't a turnover.
He was moving his feet looking for somebody to pass to, and finally being wide open takes the jumper.
Then Wilson.
He tried to shoot the Rudy Gay fall-away jumper.
This is Lucius Jordan, who had the first 5 of the game for the Great Danes.
Hanging in here very nicely in this ball game. Get that over Josh Boone, but does it anyway.
And it last touched Boone. Coming in, Hilton Armstrong, starting center. They call him just strong around UConn.
You know, one of the things that you can't take away from this UConn team, we all knew what a great defender Emeka Okafor was, but 5 years in a row they've led the nation in shot blocking. It's amazing. Great aspect, and allows them to be much more aggressive. This is not backcourt. Allows them to be much more aggressive out on the perimeter, because they know if somebody penetrates, they're going to be shot blockers back there waiting for them.
4 straight years they produced the Big East Defender of the Year. 2 years it was Okafor. Then last year Boone, this year Armstrong. Jordan with a 3 that ties the game.
That's his second from that distance.
With 5:40 to go in the first half, the Great Danes.
Ooh, I thought Armstrong was going to take a jumper himself. This has been outstanding man-to-man defense by Albany.
Trying to become the greatest dog in the history of the tournament to win a game. The 16's never beaten a one. Denham Brown. And he bangs home a 3 of his own.
He is really playing good basketball.
Yeah, this last month he's been something else.
You know what he's playing like? He's playing like he's played for Canada international ball, where he's one of the top international players.
Wilson, nice square up there. 2-point basket.
Well, he had Nelson out beyond the area where Nelson normally defends.
Well, you keep wondering, is it going to be that big spurt, that big stretch by the Huskies, the big guys? And here's a foul called against Siggers of Albany.
Jim, one of the things that I don't think that Connecticut will wear this team down. They've got about 8 or 9 deep, does Albany, and pretty good athletically.
We were profiling Albany a little bit earlier. perhaps in athletics that one of the things as Josh Boone comes back they've been best known for, they host the New York Giants football training camp every summer. That's where the Giants train, and they take that gym, that floor where Albany plays its home games, as Rashad Anderson misses his first try of the game, and they use the floor and the surrounding areas as the Giants locker room at training camp.
And some of these players get an opportunity to apprentice there.
Yep, like Jamar Wilson. So the Huskies being pushed, even though they're shooting 73%. And this is going to be a foul against Albany and Lucius Jordan.
Jordan was right first. He was right down there on Brown, but reached in.
Story here, UConn hitting shots when it doesn't turn it over. 10 turnovers, but shooting 79%, leading by only 1. Coming back in, the starter, Brian Lillis at the off guard.
Jim, you know, when you give it up 10 times, 10 possessions, you know, there's a situation, even if you're shooting 50%. 10
points.
Yeah, there's 10.
Anderson. And Williams saves it, but not really. Into the arms of Jamar Wilson. Tries to scoop it, but Armstrong got a piece of the hand. Well, the winner of this game takes on the winner of Kentucky UAB on this floor in Philadelphia on Sunday. Armstrong's first foul in Jamar Wilson.
The young man from the Bronx, you can tell he's played a lot of city basketball. You know, he just created a shot on that move, shooting 84% from the foul line.
Ties the game with that one. One more.
17-7 points per game. He's an outstanding player, and as we said, the conference player of the year.
Levi Levine back in. Brent Wilson sits. And Jamar Wilson, as you said, Billy, conference player of the year out of the America East. Something that Taylor Coppenrath had been laying claim to in recent years.
Levine has had his biggest games against Big East team Syracuse. He's had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals one time, 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 steals another. So Big East fair is not something bothersome.
Great Danes are back in front.
See, it's a little zone action right now. 2-3 zone.
They took Jamar Wilson out and they bring Yachty back in. Here he is, 14, the top of that zone.
It's a matchup 2-3 zone.
They have not played zone all year till today. And the shot chased down by Yachty. They had to learn it this week. Boy, Lillis hit the floor and went sliding, but he's fine. Back up.
Gay's kind of laughing because it was a slight trip. You know, that maneuver where they set the back screen for Zollner on the roll, I wonder when they're going to do that again, because he's open twice.
That's double dribble. Got 2 hands on it, Lillis. However, as we go to the break, that's right. It's Albany in front. Zollner doing it up on the inside.
Jim, 2 that really surprised you. The Pac-10 3-0 and leading could be 4-0 after the first day, huh?
Well, the Big East was 0-3 day 1, but 3 wins late this afternoon, and now UConn in action. As we've got the Big East against the America East here, and the America East champion Albany Great Danes not only hanging with them, but leading.
There's that 2-3 zone. That was the first time that something happened easy, and I think that we're going to see the zone go away.
Boone gives UConn the lead back. Josh Boone with a little soft hook has given UConn the lead by 1 with under 3 minutes to go in the half. Huskies shooting over 80%, but have turned it over 10 times. Here's a turnover by Albany. 2-on-1. Denham Brown goes driving through, and it's a block call against Albany. It sure looked like the defender had the position there.
Well, I think that the pass could have been made here to Boone on the other side. He really never established a defensive position, Jim.
Yeah, when you see the second look at it, I agree. Brent Wilson now with 2, and Denham Brown to the line.
If you establish the position, then you can be moving your feet, but he never really had one. But I thought that Denham Brown should have thrown that ball up in the air to Boone, who was coming down on the break on the other side.
So Brown again giving them a boost off the bench. or actually starting and then replaced early. You know, you think about Denham Brown as you see Jamar Wilson coming back in. Denham Brown and Rashad Anderson really kind of play the same position. You know, well, two of them are so similar. They can both. And Anderson comes off the bench.
And, you know, they can do that when they play them both at the same time. You've got your wings manned by two guys that just can light it up from the outside. He's an 85% free throw shooter. And now he's really playing some good defense as well. Tried to turn that corner so quickly.
Tie up as Denham Brown reaches in. Jump ball arrow goes to Albany.
That's a tough break for Wilson there. He turned the corner and had the corner made, but he just slipped. Feet came out from underneath him.
He's faked himself out a couple of times in this first half. And he just keeps going. He's just always jumping, very jumpy.
He's not taking any lip from Denham Brown either. You know, to put in perspective, this club was in the Elite Eight of Division III in 1994.
They had to go through all the processes from Division III, Division II, NAIA in their past as well.
Division I in 2000, so quite a leap.
Lillis, good move. Right spin, too.
Very tough shot.
1-point game for UConn. Pass over the top. Boom. Lost it for a moment.
Might have been 3 seconds, not called.
We talk about Albany. They had a coach there for some 40 years, Richard Doc Sowers, with over 700 wins. He's now the women's golf coach.
That's a retired.
Yeah, but now the retired legendary coach. He was there when they first started the transition up the ladder to Division I before retiring in '96.
Right, he was in Division III, Division II, NAIA. So he went through the whole circuit there.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Minute 37 and a half. Toss it out high, and it's stripped away from Armstrong. Albany can take the lead with a minute 30 to go in the half. Oh, how did that go in? He threw the pass, and it was tapped somehow off the glass and in by Zellner.
Zellner just got a hand on it, and the English and the spin was perfect.
And everyone on their feet, and Kentucky fans, UAB fans in the arena cheering it on as well. Back comes Marcus Williams, and UConn regains the lead by 1.
Wanting to spread things out, utilize as much of the clock as possible. You know Jamar Wilson's going to have the ball in his hands.
Will Brown hollering instructions to his point guard, who waits until 14 seconds on the shot clock. Now driving and spinning. Look with the left hand, tipped around out to Marcus Williams.
And he's got an opportunity now to wait on Josh Boone, get the last shot. Jim Calhoun wants a timeout.
And it is given, granted, to the Huskies, who are in for a fight tonight. A little Friday night fight in Philadelphia. A 1 seed and a mighty underdog. A Great Dane, in fact. And UConn leads it by 1. UConn called the timeout. Huskies can hold it for the last shot.
Now, Jim, Albany was much better off in their man-to-man than they have been in the zone. Let's see if Coach will go ahead and take a chance. Coach Brown right now will take a chance and go back to the man-to-man. Looks like he's setting up for the 2-3 zone again with a little matchup. And as he told us yesterday, we just don't play zone. Maybe he was trying to fake us out a little bit too.
Said he hadn't played it all year.
That's right.
Had to put it in this week. It's the only way he said we can stay with him. They did not want to get their big man Zollner in any kind of early foul trouble.
Yep. They showed the zone now as the clock is winding down. They went back to man-to-man.
In fact, Zollner with no personal fouls in this half. 8 seconds to go before the intermission. Williams, Jordan defending. Boom, looking for baseline. Zollner blocks. UConn leads, but it's nothing easy about it. The 1 seed leads by 1. CBS Sports exclusive coverage continues after this word and a message from your local station. Our 25th year on the road to the Final Four. Second half about to begin here in Philadelphia. First half numbers Well, turnovers a big part of the story. UConn hitting almost 2 of 3 shots.
But Jim, they're making their shots, but they're turning it over due to Albany's steals and just careless ball handling on the part of Connecticut. And those extra possessions is what yielded Albany an opportunity to stay right in this ball game. There was Honor on that back screen, who picked up 2 nice baskets on that very same offensive maneuver.
Zollner with 8 points going against Hilton Armstrong, who was shut out in that first half.
I'll tell you another thing. When you talk about stats that really impressed me, in the case of Zollner, he has no personal fouls, and he played 18 minutes in that game. Now you're talking about going up against guys on all sides of him. That's a terrific first half by the big guy.
Didn't see a whole lot of passion coming out of UConn's effort in that first half, Billy.
No, I thought that they came out early with no respect whatsoever for Albany. Start throwing the ball all over the lot. Weren't solid. They got him in trouble.
Armstrong has it taken right away by Lillis.
I don't know if he knew it. Lillis was underneath him on that play.
That's happened a number of times in this game by all of the Great Danes, just reaching in. Saw the steals at halftime. That's now 8 steals on the game. Can they continue to stay with them? That's Boone reaching around, getting a steal of his own.
Albany does a lot better when they get the ball to Jamar Wilson and let him initiate the offense.
And again, they're going to make a quick sub on the UConn side. Adrian about to check in. And as the game opened with a Gay jumper, Rooney hits the first basket of the second half.
And that may be against a box in 1 or a triangle in 2. Watch him the next time down the floor. Look at Gay getting very aggressive out there. You don't see that kind of motion out of him very often.
Zollner back in an arm. Ball squirts loose to Marcus Williams, where he's so dangerous on the run. Sets it up, Denham Brown corner. Zollner's pass almost picked, but it's going back to the Great Danes, and Adrian is coming in for Armstrong. Jamar Wilson, you said he must handle it, Billy.
Yeah, when he has the ball in his hands, they really initiate their offense well. Now, Lillis is doing that. Denham Brown, here's Wilson. They seem to do so much better when he's got it.
Lillis with a spin move and a dunk. Zollner puts it up and in. Set up by Lillis.
Nice job by Zollner not to charge on that play as well.
That's going to be on Lillis. Block foul.
Good recognition on Gay. He knew that the defender Lillis was going to come up to try to draw the charge and went around him nicely.
Billy, can you imagine if they can continue to hang in there, let's say at the 10-minute mark, what this crowd will be like?
Well, you can tell going out at halftime, the people were on their feet over there in the Kentucky contingency, as well as UAB, everybody else rooting for Albany, no question about it.
This a foul on Lillis, his third.
And that hurts him because Lillis has been really aggressive on both ends of the floor, getting a lot of loose balls, making a lot of things happen positive for his team. Zigger's going to take his place.
So Zigger's back in, number 1. Lillis had 2 fouls in an 8-second span. Remember, he tried to draw the charge. Then Brown, they got a squeeze on him. And a loose ball out to Albany. Jordan puts it up and in the back in front.
Second time tonight he's used the rim.
Denham Brown right back. Transition game for UConn. Brown doesn't drop. Tipped away, and it's going to Albany.
Jordan boxed out 2 Connecticut players, Josh Boone and Adrian, and he gave up probably between the 2 of them, let's say, 3, 6, 9 inches, and still was able to retrieve that ball.
We will not be in awe of UConn, said Coach Will Brown. We will play as loose as we have all season. We're not the hunted, we're the hunter, is what he said for the first time all year.
Ooh, Jordan missed Zollner early.
Well, he's got him now. He's backing in. Will that be offensive? It's going to be on UConn.
Wow.
It's going to be on Josh Brown. His second.
Boone had good position there. Zollner, I thought, put that shoulder into him, and he got by with it.
When he lowered that shoulder, I thought that call would go against Zollner. Now inbound underneath.
I'll tell you, they're playing right behind Zollner, so Albany can get him the ball anytime they want to.
Jamar Wilson back to Zollner in the dunk and up three.
As I said, whenever they get the ball in Jamar Wilson's hands, good things happen. He really can play under control despite all that quickness. And let's see this defense.
They converge to Gay, and they steal it from Gay. Lucius Jordan with the theft. Pull up three. No. Tipped up. No. UConn, Adrian underneath, and he is fouled by the Great Danes.
Jim Calhoun is already out to half court to call timeout. He has seen enough, and his club is really frustrating him tonight. Beautiful pick and roll to Zollner.
The last foul was on Siggers of Albany. It'll be UConn ball, but it's Albany's lead in the second half. The Albany fans, they can't sit. Why not us? That cheer has spread from the locker room. It was first the thought of that phrase from Eric Eaton, one of the assistants to Coach Will Brown, and now the student section reminding the players during every break, every opportunity, why not us? Why not us? Why can't we be the first ever to defeat a #1 seed coming from the 16th position? Never been done. 0-87 in the history of the tournament.
Look at where Zollner's playing. He's playing a one-man zone back in here, and they don't see any weak side help coming. Connecticut on a very soft pass inside.
14 turnovers committed by the Huskies.
And Jim, you wonder if all of a sudden there'll be some concern on this Connecticut team's players' faces when they just can't pull this game away.
And that's knocked out by UConn every minute. You keep thinking we might be sitting on some history here. I know it's still 16-19 on the clock, but they show no signs of caving in to the weight of this moment.
It wasn't a 1-16, but I can remember that Georgetown-Princeton game, and that's what this one reminds me a little of. Who would have ever thought? Certainly I wouldn't have.
Jordan back out to Jamar Wilson, the creator, as you described.
Yeah, he has really been solid.
Siggers driving on Williams off the glass, and they're now in front by 5. They're trying to beat him down the floor quickly. Gay puts up the quick shot and rebound by Albany.
I tell you, Connecticut cannot get into any rhythm at all. They started the game off with frenetic play, trying to make home run hits on tough passes, and now they're trying to get back what is only a 5-point lead, and there they throw it away.
Siggers doubled up, back to the corner. Zollner.
Siggers did a good job. Looked like that ball was going to be taken away. How much comfort do you have when Wilson has the ball in his hands?
Well, he is totally comfortable with the bigness of this. Here he is inside underneath with the trees off the glass. Can you imagine that shot? Their largest lead of the game. They lead by 7.
No way Connecticut could ever expected this.
No one in America except this Albany team.
Oh, up and down. That's a jump ball.
And the arrow belongs to the Great Danes. We're going to have a break in the action with 15:04 to go.
Jim, they're trying to do it all one-on-one instead of as a team.
You see the game summary. Albany is on a 10-0 run and enjoying the biggest lead of the game on their side of 7 with possession.
14 turnovers to 5. Jamar Wilson has been the guy to be responsible why Albany only has 5 turnovers. He sets up their offense, and he's got the ball right now. Denham Brown has his hands full.
Their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament, and what a memorable appearance it's turning out to be. The first SUNY school ever to play in the tournament, State University of New York.
Connecticut picking up defensive intensity. Their problem has been down the other end of the floor. Every time a man touches the ball, he thinks he has to make a big play. Hey, Ziggers has got good position down the low post with Williams on.
2 on the shot clock. They have to take it. They get it away in time. It's that kind of a night. Siggers, by a split second, beats the shot clock, and it's a double-digit lead.
How about the presence of mind of Wilson on that dish?
Just caught it and released it right away. Totally aware. Siggers reaches in, the arrow back to UConn, but again, every time they put the ball on the floor, Albany's there to meet them.
Jim, what's happening with Connecticut, and I've never seen them go this way. Any man that touches the ball tries to win the game on that play in his possession. Very little passing, no screening, and no good floor position in case his shot goes up.
Rashad Anderson is in. There he is with the ball. This is a key figure in this half.
There's that zone again.
If the Huskies are to mount the comeback, they must have to avoid what would be, Billy, the biggest upset in the history of the tournament.
Without question.
Denham Brown with a three. Back to the rim, and Albany rebound.
That's not the shot that you want against that zone. And how about Coach Brown yesterday said, we've never played zone. They're playing it pretty good tonight. I'm impressed with Siggers and the fact that he can take people off the dribble and make that great shot.
Jordan on the drive. Lost it for a moment. They call it travel. Hilton Armstrong's coming back in for UConn. CBS Sports Line, your destination. Complete tournament coverage, brackets, video highlights, expert analysis, CBSSportsLine.com. UConn scoreless for the last 5 minutes, 40 seconds.
Jim, this Albany team started the season 2-6. This is some way ended. They've lost 3 overtime games this year.
21-10 overall.
They are playing some kind of game tonight.
Williams left open, and he takes advantage with a three.
Much calmer looking shot.
That breaks a 13-0 run. I mean, it's just unimaginable that Albany would be able to pin a 13-0 run on UConn, much less lead this game in the second half by 7.
Another thing that's unimaginable, they are out rebounding Connecticut in this game.
Mar Wilson answers back with another three.
Nobody was on him.
Backing in, and the shot up and good. Josh Boone.
1 pass, 1 shot. You notice the difference? Not much movement there.
Wilson able to break the pressure alone. Puts it up, and the call is going to be on UConn.
I think it's going to be on Hilton Armstrong.
His second.
Good bounce by Wilson. Not afraid to take it down inside, much like Kyle Lowry from Villanova. Takes it right into the teeth of the defense and creates a shot. Armstrong never squared up on him.
They just keep going, talking about Albany. Break to break. Not letting them cut into that lead.
Well, again, 85% free throw shooter and a tremendous floor general.
Rudy Gay back in, and off-street, the freshman guard.
Now you're going to see 2 point guards on the floor at the same time. Jim Calhoun trying to get something going. It's been revolving doors in his lineup.
He took Rashad Anderson out. He wasn't in there long, Billy. He has not scored in this game tonight. That's a big part of the subplot.
Let's see what happens now. He's got 2 point guards in the game. So he's taken out his 2 primary wing shooters and gone with 2 point guards. Jim Calhoun trying anything.
And there's the shot up.
Not a good shot. Hit somebody on the foot, and I think it was Albany.
And we'll say it again for those of you just joining us. We've said it all night long. The 16 has never beaten a 1. 0-87 in the history of a 64-team tournament field.
How about a guy coaching his first game in the NCAA tournament going up against a Hall of Famer and doing the job?
Down low, and a foul call. It's going to be on Zollner. Now let's see. It's called on Levine. Connecticut 30% this half, and they're down a 10-point margin.
Greg Gumbel in New York updating you on George Mason against Michigan State. Michigan State grabbed a 1-point lead, but that's before the Patriots came roaring back on a 10-0 run. The Campbell three-pointer has George Mason up 61-52 We'll keep you updated. Back to Philadelphia.
Well, Michigan State's been an enigma all season long, and in the last week or two, so has UConn. And again tonight, Armstrong at the line, and that spins out.
Lackadaisical shooting form by Armstrong. Didn't stay with his shot.
You know, Billy, this Albany team early in the season was playing at Pauley Pavilion. UCLA ranked 16th at the time and led by a point. Both miss, both spinning out. Led by one with 14 minutes to go before the Bruins won by 6. But it's a 10-point lead here.
Levine in the ball game now, and as we said before, he's had some big games against Big East teams, Syracuse particularly. Fade away, got it. They can't handle him. He has played a great basketball game.
Off straight pass, dunked by Boone. People saying too, a lot of people believe Marcus Williams might be the best point guard in college basketball, and look who's the talk here tonight. The guy is matched up against, although it's Austrian there now for the Huskies on him.
Well, he's both so efficient with the ball. He keeps everybody moving. He thinks he can take Austria anytime inside, doesn't he?
Well, this time the Huskies reach in, and Rudy Gay showing some aggression.
I really think that should have been a jump ball, too.
Marcus Williams, there he is. We just mentioned him. He's hit 2 threes in this half.
As Jim Calhoun finally found the combination with 2 point guards in the game at the same time. He didn't get play out of his wingmen tonight, particularly Anderson.
And it's going to be a push-off foul on Austria of UConn. At the end of this game, we'll select Chevrolet Player of the Game from each team, $1,000 to each school's General Scholarship Fund. America's brand, supporting America's best Chevy. An American Revolution. First on Austria.
And here Denham Brown's back in the game. This is a good move by Jim Calhoun because Austria just could not handle Wilson.
Albany shooting 67% in this half.
There's an Armstrong foul, and he's going to put...
They just ran over Wilson.
Just ran right through Wilson.
That's only the 15th foul, and the 3rd on Armstrong.
Jim Calhoun is getting smaller with his lineup, trying to match up. And Denham Brown on Wilson. He's probably done as good a job as anybody out there on him tonight.
Levi Levine gives it up to Wilson.
Rudy Gay on Levine.
Siggers from behind. And UConn's got the first spurt of the game on their side. And Williams takes it all the way for 2.
And he was pushed by Wilson, not called.
It roared back to within 5. And a timeout by Will Brown. Had to have it. 7-point run by the Huskies. Cut it to 5. Midway second half. NCAA March Madness on demand. You can watch live tournament games on your computer for free. Sign up now, ncaasports.com/MMOD.
Jim, it's hard to believe, but, you know, Connecticut's last game, they lost to Syracuse. You don't even think about that, you know, back in the opening round of the Big East tournament. And as we researched, no team has ever lost the opening round of the postseason conference tournament and won a national championship. Connecticut's starting to get things moving back their way now.
Yep, things getting unsettled. Albany in, and that's against Boone.
That's a foul on Boone, but a bad pass by Williams. Boone had no chance to catch and get himself in position to score. You'll see as he catches this ball, he has no chance to gather himself. Defenders waiting, charge on the play.
That's 3 on Boone, and Hilton Armstrong's back in. Next foul on the Huskies will send the Great Danes to the line.
Well, I forgot about Lillis. You know, he got in some foul trouble, had to sit for a while. He'd been playing solid basketball.
Here he is, driving, pulling up, and traveled first. Albany now 3 minutes without a point, and they're turning it over almost every trip.
Now you can see Jim Calhoun coming back with Anderson. Right now, how often have we seen Anderson, Jim, in games like this, hit a big shot?
Now he's nicknamed the Dagger for good reason, but he has not hit a single shot tonight to this point.
Lucius Jordan's got him. And if I'm Connecticut, I'm looking to try to get Anderson the ball. They try to have him on a curl, nothing there.
Armstrong doubled up, spits it back out, and Anderson off again. Armstrong one-handed with the rebound, and it bounces out. Wow, that was halfway down.
Lillis with a big rebound inside. It is amazing. Connecticut out-rebounds their opponents by 10.5 rebounds a game. In the case of Albany, they're only 3.4. And yet they're holding their own and then some in this ballgame.
Brent Wilson, three-pointer. Back to the rim.
Getting a little over-anxious.
Adrian, good chase by the freshman. 8.5 to play, and is Albany starting to feel the gravity of this situation? They have come undone here for 4 minutes. Ball loose, and Albany comes out with it. Lucius Jordan, he's been settling at times, off the glass for 2. Back to a 7-point lead with 8 to play.
He's a transfer from Loyola, Maryland.
That ends a 4.5-minute drought for their side. Williams, they left him alone. No foul call. Out to Denham Brown. He'll take it and hit it from 3.
3-point basket number 33, Denham Brown.
And the UConn bench standing. And you talk about how suddenly they've been awakened by how serious this is getting. Shot. Zollner, and rebound UConn.
I'm surprised that Jamarian Wilson hasn't come back and gotten that ball. Since Lillis has come into the ballgame, he knows he's been the primary ball handler, and things haven't been quite the same.
Will Brown cheering his team on, trying to survive to the next whistle, which will be the under-8 timeout. We're up 4, but it was 12 just a short while ago. Then Brown comes off the screen, dishes, Adrian, and it's down to 2.
This looks like Connecticut basketball now. You notice how they're not trying to make miraculous plays, just playing their solid half-court offense.
Will Brown says, we can't wait for the under-8 TV timeout. We'll take it. Lead is 2. Under 7 minutes to play. Jim Nance, Billy Packer in Philadelphia. One of the most thrilling 1 versus 16 matchups in a long, long time, Billy.
Well, Jim, when you think of the history of this tournament, Loyola, Chicago, Cincinnati, that was in the finals. Villanova, Georgetown, early on in the final ball game. Texas Western Kentucky, NC State, Houston, all the legendary huge upsets. This would top them all.
This would be the biggest of them all.
I realize it wouldn't be for the finals, it wouldn't be a championship, but I'll tell you, for a 16 to beat a 1 would be the all-timer.
Will Brown told his team, hey guys, sometime in the next 100 years, a 16 is going to be a 1. It's going to happen. It might as well happen now, and why not us? They've led by as many as 12 in this half. The jumper by Wilson way off the mark. And UConn's looking to tie or take the lead. Will Albany be able to regain its composure and its confidence?
And surprisingly, Connecticut's out of that timeout without Williams on the floor. You would think he'd be on the floor right now to make this play.
There's going to be another break at the next whistle, so maybe give him a little extra breather. And Brown is fouled in the act of shooting.
Has Zollner been out this half? I think the young guy has played the whole time, hasn't he?
He's been going the distance. And there it is. There's the TV timeout break, if you will. We'll come back with Brown at the line. 2 free throws to tie. 16s and 1s, the closest tangles through the year. That legendary Princeton-Georgetown game back in '89. Hoyas by a point. Oklahoma that same year beat East Tennessee State by 1. In '96, Purdue survived the scare from Western Carolina, and once a one was taken to overtime. Back in '90, Michigan State prevailed over Murray State in OT. It's been a long time, though, since we've seen anything like it. We're seeing it tonight. Denham Brown can tie the game coming out of the timeout with 2 at the line. And he's a good shooter, as you chronicled earlier, Billy, 85%.
He is a veteran player playing his best ball of his career.
Got 11 on the game. 3 of 3 at the line. And the game is tied. Coming back in is John Yachty. He can shoot it from the outside, but we haven't seen it tonight. He's in for Jordan.
Williams will be on him. Will Wilson try to penetrate and kick out Todd? Austrie's on him.
So UConn has come all the way back from 12 down to tie it. They've done it quickly. Ray Wilson for the lead back.
You notice how these are some quick shots now by Albany, unlike what they did when they got their lead.
Did have an open look. It was squared up. And a long rebound, though. No one was there but UConn, and Adrian chased it down. Now for the lead. Marcus Williams. He's having a big half, Billy. He's got 16 now for the game. Tops for the Huskies.
Very important possession right now for Albany.
Yachty
surprised us. Did not go for the 3. Took it inside. Got it over Armstrong.
Lillis trying to...
He knocked down Armstrong. No foul on the call.
Trying to create havoc. We approach 5-minute mark. Williams. Not this one. Tipped around. Now the loose ball's going to UConn.
That's going to be Lillis' 4th.
You know, think about that 5-minute stretch on the game clock, Billy, from 10 to 5. What a difference. What happened? What happened to Albany? What happened to UConn in that 5-minute stretch?
Well, I think that it was a nice run by UConn offensively. Probably the best they played all night.
Lillis is going out, and Jordan takes his position on the floor. Albany led at 50-38 with 11:34. It's been 17-4 Huskies after that. Armstrong and 1. That's a big one for Armstrong, his first points of the night.
Solomon had his hands straight up. Armstrong went over the top of him.
And Zollner collects his 3rd.
Had no fouls in the first half, played 18 minutes, and stayed out there in the second half, but now he's got 3. 4:56 to go, though. You leave him in if you're Coach Brown.
Armstrong, 3-point play and a 4-point lead. The number 1 seed UConn Huskies down 12 with 11.5 to play on a 20-4 stretch.
They're trying to get Yachty the ball. Some drive and he gets fouled.
Almost had a chance to match Armstrong's 3-point play at the other end.
Well, Williams knew that he was put into the ball game to take 3s. Yachty, for the second time, has put the ball on the floor and penetrated and got by with it both times.
Foul call on Marcus Williams, and for you UConn fans up in Hartford and right there on campus and stores, if you think you've seen enough of Albany, I better warn you, you're going to see him again on Thanksgiving weekend. They're coming to Gamble Pavilion early next season.
You know, this is interesting about this young guy. As a freshman, he played more minutes that year than any player in Division I. He averaged 40 minutes a game, 1,121 minutes. Due to a shoulder injury last year, cut everything back for him, but he's out here now being asked to contribute with some offensive points, get his team back in the game.
Hit 1 of 2 at the line and a field goal the previous trip. Clock working down inside 4:30. Rudy Gay whips it over to Armstrong. He's not going to take that jumper. Marcus Williams will, though. And he has been the difference. He has now 14 in the half, 19 for the night.
Everybody plays Williams to put the ball on the floor and drive in that floater of his, but he has pulled up and taken what the defense has given him.
They've given him that shot a number of times. Into Zollner and tied up. It's going to Albany. And a timeout on the floor, but UConn on a roll. The 1 seed playing like it the last 8 minutes.
1:06 to play in that game. Let's join Craig Bolerjack and Bob Wenzel.
Buckle up. 1:06 to play. It's tourney time in Dallas. You gotta love it.
Right now, let's get you back to Philadelphia. UConn leading 61-55. Jim Nance and Billy Packer.
(61-55), just under 4 to play, and it's a 23-5 stretch here for the Huskies.
Jim, for the first time tonight in that stretch, Connecticut got down to playing good, solid half-court offense. Not trying to go for one-on-one moves. You remember that sequence when they got down by 10? It seemed like every player on the team would catch the ball in the half-court set and try to do something all by himself. Now they're back to playing Connecticut basketball.
And they're doing this tonight without any production from Rashad Anderson, the second leading scorer for the team, 13 a game. He's been shut out. And that happened only one other time this season, second game of the year against Arkansas. But it's Albany's ball, and again, would you have ever thought before the game began they would be within 6 with under 4 to play?
They're really taking away Yachty's shot, aren't they?
Yep.
They're playing him to put up that jump shot, trying to stop him.
And that pass gets away, trying to hit Zollner, trying to do too much.
And Coach Brown holds his hands up saying, what was that all about? Ziggers is going to come back in for him.
Boy, Ziggers hit that 3 at the highest point for the Great Danes, and it really looked like this was going to be a historic night. Rudy Gay, and now the lead at 8.
Well, this has been some comeback by Connecticut, but whoever thought we'd be talking about a Connecticut comeback?
25-5 comeback, Billy. And even Wilson now unable to really have full control.
He really went down on the floor, but he has given everything he's got out there. Player of the year of the conference, obviously first team. Just an outstanding player tonight.
And he's back on his feet. Going to stay in. A 20-point swing in the last 8 minutes.
You know, the other thing is interesting. Northeastern, the team that Jim Calhoun coached at one time, was expected to be the top team in this conference this year. Of course, they went to the Colonial Conference. So that opened things up for Albany.
Yeah, Will Brown said we wouldn't have been probably in this position. Certainly wouldn't have been preseason choice had Northeastern stayed around. And Denham Brown now hitting the 3.
Denham Brown has become the man coming down the stretch for Connecticut.
UConn has broken it open. Up 11. And they were down 12 not even 9 minutes ago. The 23-point turnaround. Wilson puts it up and in. Now Northeastern leaving the America East to join the Colonial Athletic Association. And Billy, let's give a little nod here to George Mason and its win tonight over a Michigan State team that's hard to figure.
They really are. A team that was projected before the season started to be certainly no less than in the top 5. Struggled, actually had to play in the opening round of the Big Ten tournament. You would never expected it. Find themselves out of this tournament and losing some seniors. And Paul Davis, particularly, they expected to make a run this year.
Never would have thought with Paul Davis, Maurice Agar, and Shannon Brown that would be a team that would underperform this season. And Tom Izzo's had so many high-performing teams, but certainly not this year. Huge disappointment. They're out. UConn rising to the moment.
In that game where Midgley made the shot, those are the only 2 players on either team who played in that game in Oklahoma City in 03.
Bob, we look ahead to Cal. Down by 3. They have hit 5
This is
of
Greg
14.
Gumbel in New York. Just to remind you, you are watching the final half minute or so of the action in Dallas between North Carolina State and California. NC State with a 3-point lead, and Craig Bolajak and Bob Wenzel are there. Let's listen.
Got a quick 2 and then press.
Shot clock has been turned off. Ubaka between his legs. Vincent. Back to Ubaka. 18 left. He'll fire. A 3. Not this time. Ricochets off the window. And the rebound belongs to Gavin Grant.
Well, obviously Cal was going for the 3. NC State fans happy right here. This is just a throw right here. He made one from that side, but not challenged like this. Does not even draw iron. Game not over yet.
And the line shooting 2.
So 2 for Grant, who's a 74% free throw shooter. And on the night, he's made 4 of his first 6. Smooth and cool and calm.
But they did not come out with the right mindset tonight.
Denham Brown with the basket with the left hand. It was a beauty.
But take nothing away from their opponent in the statement I just made, because I thought Albany played a great basketball game here tonight.
Have they ever? Another timeout called by.
All of his points scored from the free throw line. 6 of 7. 14 seconds to play. 5-point lead for North Carolina State. They need points in a hurry. There's Cal, but they strip it away.
Great hustle by Atzer to keep the play alive. Gets it to Evtimov, and we've got some happy Wolfpacks. Herb Sendak is going to be 4-1 in first-round games. Look at his hustle. And the foul necessary. Fast hands by Bennerman created that situation.
Evtimov at the free throw line. One more.
For more than $25 a shirt. And that shot blocked by Armstrong.
You know, Williams got a piece of that block, and remember the big block he made to get things turned around here when he was beaten on the drive earlier.
There's a steal. Nope, right back to Austri. And UConn's going to survive and advance to the second round. Just the final 45 seconds, that's it. But it has been a thriller here in Philadelphia, with Albany leading at 50-38, Billy, with 11 and a half to go. So that means it's been 30-7 the rest of the way.
You know, Jim Calhoun, certainly one of the great coaches ever in college basketball history, the Hall of Famer, as we mentioned. I don't think, if you get a chance to settle him down this spring, that he has ever had a game where he has had to work as hard to try to find a combination that could finally succeed. I mean, he's had lineups in the ball game that he wouldn't have even imagined tonight.
You think how the one side of it, when a 16 someday does become the first ever to beat a one, but the flip of it is to be that first one. Can you imagine how frightening that had to be for UConn when they were down 12? Nice drive by Jamar Wilson, down 12 virtually midway through the second half. And I got to tell you, they had stayed with him obviously throughout. They didn't show any signs of cracking at that point.
No, and they got that lead with solid play. It wasn't like somebody bombing away with a bunch of three-point shots.
Timeout on the floor in Philly. We're wrapping up this one. We thought it might be a wild scene at about this point, but it all came undone as UConn put it in overdrive, flexed its muscles in the late going. and overcame a large deficit. And they're sending Marcus Williams now to the line to shoot 2. I know a lot of you saw NC State win tonight, Billy. That means the ACC is now 3-0. Cal, the first team from the Pac-10 to lose. That conference 3-1. And with Pittsburgh victorious, and now UConn on its way to a win. After the Big East was 0-3 on Thursday, they're 5-0 today.
Jim, that North Carolina State team was really floundering at the end of this season, and really came out of the ACC tournament looking like they might not be able to advance against anyone. Big win for their team tonight. It's amazing how the momentum can swing for college teams at this time of year. Marcus Williams now with 21 on the night. That's a season high. And what a second half for Williams, with 16 coming. Large part in the comeback. Large part of the point total coming in that big break. They let him shoot the 3 out there, and he took advantage. Pushes the mark of a good ball play. Defense gives you something, you take it. Well, that's going to be a deceiving final. A 25-point swing over the final 11.5 minutes. The Great Danes were great indeed for about 30 minutes tonight. And there's Jim Calhoun, almost twice the age of Will Brown, giving him a hug, saluting the effort by the Albany team. What a fight they put up tonight. Wilson and Williams, the Chevrolet MVPs. A fun one to watch. It really was, Jim.
UConn will be on the floor here on Sunday, and will play the winner of the next one to take place at the Wachovia Center, Kentucky and UAB. Jim Nance and Billy Packer saying so long for now from Philadelphia. UConn advances. We continue on our 25th road to the Final Four on CBS.
Coach, you're down 12 with 11.5 minutes to go. How frightening was it at that time?
It wasn't frightening because we had probably played, quite frankly, maybe the worst 30 minutes that we've played all year. And conversely, we gave all the juice and energy that this tournament can give to a team like Albany, who just played great basketball. And my hat, my gloves, my shoes, I'm going to tip them all to them because they were absolutely terrific.
Jim, let me ask you, the game is going. Things aren't working for you. You're over there trying to find a lineup. What was it you were trying to come up with?
I was trying to get up with someone that wouldn't get stripped inside because I thought we could really overmatch him inside. And secondly, we're trying to find somebody to stop penetration. A small key to the game ends up being Craig Austrie, who stops penetration of Nelson 4 or 5 times direct. We had 7 straight stops, and that changed the game around. Then Marcus steps forward and does a great job. But, you know, in this tournament, as you guys know, you've seen this before.
Survive in advance.
And all I know is we were playing on Sunday, but it was tough. And I tell you what, Albany just played absolutely great basketball. And the Huskies, for that last 10 minutes, they were a pretty good basketball team, pretty mature, and they showed their pedigree at least.
The word was getting around that there might be history in the making in Philadelphia, and you would have been on the wrong side of that. Did that cross your mind at any time?
Never. I turned to Judge and said, Judge, we're in trouble if we can't find 5 kids who do what we want to do and stop turning the ball over. We shot 65% in the first half.
And we're up 1.
And we're up 1 and turned the ball over 11 times. We probably had 20 turnovers, but down the stretch there were no turnovers. And down the stretch it was great defense played by us. And it really shows the character we have. Now we have to hopefully carry that through to Sunday, and we'll see what happens. But I've been in this tournament, and I've watched great teams win a national championship. I watched Arizona lose a game, win a game they should have lost, and go on to win the national championship. So this is what happens in this tournament. That's what makes it so great.
Wonderful turnaround. Well done, Coach. We'll see you Sunday.
Hard work. I'm tired.
Once again, it bears repeating. UConn 72-59. That Albany, this was their very first appearance in the NCAAs, and they almost made it extremely memorable. Isn't it interesting to sit there and listen to Jim Calhoun? As we talked and watched that game develop, it takes a coach's breakdown to tell you exactly why UConn prevailed.
And he's excellent at breaking things down. He knew exactly what he needed from his team to get this thing turned around. And to UConn's credit, even though they stumbled and stammered through 30 minutes, They found a way in the last 10 minutes to do all the things they needed to do: defend, rebound, and make shots. That's why they're a championship caliber team.
And you really see why so many people have favored them to win a national championship, because they have so many guys that they have a coach who can just sort of find the right combination and feel it as the game goes on. And yeah, when Jim Calhoun talked about the kind of game you win on the way to a national championship, you think of UCLA with Tyus Edney. You know, sometimes you need a close call to spur you on your way. Maybe that's what'll happen.
Bottom line, UConn a winner. They advance to meet the winner of the game coming up between Kentucky and Alabama.